One thing about this cast is they can never truly stop being chaotic. Today, Izzy and Felicia and Suri talking about keeping Heisem in the game after all of this week, wanting him out after the huge blindside, after making several more alliances. They want to go back to the original alliance minus Bowie, but add Corey and thus save Heisem. And another thing that this cast always does is they get these ideas in their head to flip-flop, or at least they say they're gonna think about it. But what they really do is just go straight for it. They already told Heisem, we're thinking about saving you now. Felicia, as HOH, being the main one, after this backdoor, to me, it's very odd that they come to these conclusions, just being all over the place constantly. But I gotta say, it is the main reason why I am enjoying this season. They are paranoid, emotional players for the most part, constantly changing their mind. How can I not be entertained? I'm very entertained by this cast with this flip-flopping that they constantly do. Even if it always seems like bad ideas in the first place. Backdooring Heisem in the first place was a bad idea. And you would think, after going through with it, then coming to the conclusion to save him would also be a bad idea, because how loyal is Heisem really going to be? Although I do think he would be loyal for a little while. We saw in Big Brother Canada when this happened to Kiefer. He stayed loyal back to his crew for a while until pulling off a huge plan to get out Jed back in BB Can 9. So I think Heisem would be loyal for a little while at least, and then slowly start to get revenge. However, it seems as though the house already flip-flopped back to no longer keeping Heisem after already telling him that they were thinking about keeping him. Corey was the main one to once again change the mind on the flip. Corey continues to be one of the only logical players in the house. Mimi, the other one. Mimi was also not totally on board with flipping once again. She never is, because I think Mimi is slow to change when it comes to this emotional flip-flopping from this group of people. But Corey, after talking with some of them, has changed their minds. I think once Suri agrees with you, Suri's kind of the one that makes shit happen in this house. When Suri is on board, things are going to change. When she's not on board, they're not going to change. She is running a lot of these people. Like I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. Felicia, one of the biggest sheep in the house, the oldest player, and one of the biggest sheep in the house when it comes to playing Suri's game. It's very annoying, but she is the biggest sheep in the house, in my opinion. Because, like, how can you go through with this backdoor when I think it was probably a bad idea for Felicia's game in the long run? It very much gave Denise in Survivor Winners at War when she got out Sandra. Oh, yeah, you made the big move. You got out this shield in front of you that was going to work with you. It's the same exact thing for Felicia here. The one thing that Denise did not have going for her that Felicia does have is a social game. But nonetheless, I still think it is as dumb of a move for Felicia as it was for Denise in Survivor Winners at War. But they're playing like Survivor with Suri in the house, and it's working to give more entertaining gameplay for the most part. I do think it is very fluid, and I think that is something that might trip up Corey eventually, is that I don't think Corey can be fluid. Yes, Corey bringing the logic to these people that are all over the place is working for now, but he's going to have to truly maneuver a lot better than I think he can in the future of this game when these people continue to be chaotic. He cannot be the one organized person in the house when everyone else is chaotic, or it's going to blow up in his face eventually. I think he's playing a good game for now. He has some flaws. I do feel like he is, and this will probably offend Corey fans, but oh well. I love offending stans. It's what I do best. Corey's kind of Jared bitch is what I think in this game. It's going to constantly be hard for me to say Corey's in the best spot in the house because Jared continues to outmaneuver him to be in the best spot in the house. Jared is maneuvering better than Corey when it comes to ties. Even with Jared getting exposed to Jag yesterday, Jag is not very good at using that information strategically. Unfortunately, this cast seems to only be able to just create more and more new alliances, which is what happened today. They did not go through with the new alliance with Heisem minus Bowie and adding Corey. Instead, they just minus Heisem and Bowie and added Corey. That is the newest main six alliance, allegedly, for now. Is it real? Is it fake? They think it's real, but Felicia also was going very gung-ho for the 7 alliance that they made this week with Blue, Matt, and Jag added to the alliance. So, you know, it's hard to tell with these people which alliance they actually consider to be real. The truth is none of them are real. And it's just Surree's aligned with everybody minus America. Although they've talked about adding America as their possible 7th person to that 6-person alliance. You know, Corey continues to try and protect America, but I don't even know if that's a good idea for him anymore. I think America continues to dig her own hole where her lack of bond making is concerned. Nicole has stepped back up her game. It seems like America and Nicole can never both be doing good socially. It seems like either one's doing good socially and the other's not, or vice versa. Right now, it's America struggling socially, and Nicole has went back up socially because she's now back in with Surrey, I think is the main thing. She's back in with Surrey, so she's back in to the alleged real alliance. So, as it stands with this quick little update for the night, they entertained a flip. Izzy was pushing for a pretty hardcore. Izzy says she likes to consider both sides. She thinks that's smart. And it is smart, in my opinion, to consider both sides. What's dumb is to not consider both sides before you go through with something. Before you backdoored Heisem, you maybe should have thought this through on both sides. But they didn't, and they can consider Cameron and Rhett a threat as a duo, but now they're keeping Cameron in the game this week because of overplaying last week where this Heisem target is concerned. And if they wanted to go through with this flip, although they've been talked out of it, and I think Jared and both Jared and Surrey are now off board with the flip, but if they were still on board with it, they didn't need Corey. If Felicia and Surrey and Izzy didn't have this weird thing with Bowie where they think she is just playing this game hard and playing both sides when she is furniture, but instead they're paranoid about Bowie, but they could go through with this flip by just sticking with the original alliance of Bowie in the alliance instead of Corey. But instead, they're so paranoid about furniture that is Bowie that they think she's playing this hardcore both side game, and she's not. Yeah. So, Heisem's probably still going, despite there being a few hours of discussing a flip. I think where they went wrong is they let Izzy talk to Corey first. It's not that they let Izzy talk to Corey first. Izzy can't stop herself from being the first person to get to a person, and she's really bad at those conversations. And so her being bad at that conversation with Corey was able to, you know, out-talk her in that conversation and later out-talk the group as a whole to keep Heisem from staying in this game. So Corey did well logically again here. I'm not convinced that he is in as good of a spot as he thinks he is. The best thing going for him is that he worked himself into this alliance minus Heisem. But is it a real alliance? Is he really in a good spot playing this game with Surrey and Jared and Izzy? I think right now he's kind of playing Jared's game. Jared is always talking about how Corey needs to cut America, but Jared's never talking about how Jared's going to cut Blue in this game. So I think Jared's outplaying him there. Jared wants to be close to Blue and Corey late in this game. But I think Jared sees Blue as this weapon for him later in this game where he might not need Corey. And yeah, Corey's playing this game where he's trying to have his own weapons in the game. I don't know how smart it is that Cameron is his weapon in the game, though. Like, I think that is where Corey could go wrong. is if you are going to keep Red and Cameron in this game, like sure, they can all talk about how they're going to get rid of Red or Cameron this next round. But if they don't, and both stay in the game, and Cameron's getting later in this game, Cameron's not going to be good for Corey's game here in a few weeks. So it's not exactly that smart of a decision from Corey, in my opinion, to keep this flip from happening. I understand why he's doing it, though. I think for now, it is the more logical move. But I think long term, Corey is starting to falter, in my opinion anyway, where the board actually lays. And I think Cameron can be dangerous if they continue to let him keep going in this game week after week after week, which is what is starting to happen. And that can happen in these games. You could say, we're going to get rid of Cameron later, and then before you know it, he's like Alex on this channel on Little Brother, and he's almost at the end of the game. So beware of that happening, possibly. For me, I'm kind of back to like I was last week. I don't really have a horse in the race who goes home. I see the pros and cons of both sides. I think Heisem staying does make for better feeds. Corey keeps kind of keeping us from these last minute flips, which is I don't like at all, because us getting a third week in a row of a unanimous vote sucks. That is the tall tale sign of people aren't actually playing their own games. So right now, every single person is kind of playing Surrey's game, and that's just the way it is.